89.3 and 88.5 Yes FM. Also broadcasting on the internet at yeshome.com and on your smartphone through TuneIn Radio and Wonder Radio.
We have Doug Bender, and Doug is with IamSecond.com. Good afternoon, Doug. Thanks for joining us on the Afternoon Rebellion. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I'm calling in from Dallas, actually.
Dallas. All right, the big D. Well, cool. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon. And people are familiar with the I Am Second because we've had some special radio features that you've put together for us to air, featuring some of the artists that we play, like Lecrae and Brian Head Welch. There's movie stars. There's sports figures. Tell us what I Am Second is all about.
Yeah, well, I Am Second, we started off, it's just a website with about a dozen films of people from all walks of life just sharing their story of how Jesus became first. And we just had our 4-year anniversary. We got now just under 90 films on our website now, and they're all about 5-10 minutes. But they're all just sharing that story of how Jesus changed their life. And some of them are famous people, like you mentioned, Lecrae or Brian Head Welch, and some of them are less so. But all of them just fantastic stories.
Now tell us some of the highlights of these stories and the people that you've had with I Am Second.
Yeah, I think, honestly, one of my all-time favorite stories that we have on our site is the Brian Head Welch story, and it is a powerful story of someone who really had everything that this world had to offer and more. I mean, he had every dream that he ever dreamt. He had it. He was an international rock star with Korn. He just had everything, and he found it absolutely empty. And it wasn't until he found Jesus that life really made sense. And I love that story because when you think of Brian Head Welch, when you think of Korn, you think this would be the last person to ever, become a believer, and yet no one is ever too far gone.
Wow. Well, tell us about the name I Am Second. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, I Am Second is simply that statement that Jesus is first, and we picked that statement because it's generic enough where it intrigues people. It makes people say, well, who's first? And so, because we want to put the ball in people's court and not ours. We wanted to get people to start spiritual conversations. And if we just had a website called Jesus is First, well, everybody knows what that's about then. So we just said, I am, and we let people start those conversations as they go.
Cool. So when people make themselves second, what does that entail? What kind of commitment is that?
Really, yeah, really, it is the message of following Jesus. That when Jesus offers to forgive us, to save us, to rescue us from our own sin and mistakes, and give us eternal life through the death and burial, resurrection of His Son, and becoming second is when we say we accept that. And we make a dedication to say, Jesus, I'm going to live for you. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm going to do my best to make you the priority of my life. And that means putting others before ourselves. It means making God a priority. It means our life is no longer about our relationships or our money or our success. It's about God, and that's what it's all about. And obviously, none of us do it perfectly, but it's a ongoing commitment, and maybe you could say even a motto that we live by, and we say, Jesus is first, I'm second.
Cool. We're talking with Doug Bender of IamSecond.com, and also a new book that they got coming out called Live Second. We'll talk more with Doug about that on the Afternoon Rebellion on Yes FM. Family Force 5, Grandma got ran over by a reindeer on Yes FM in the Afternoon Rebellion. And on the phone, we have Doug Bender with IamSecond.com. Good afternoon, Doug. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
We're honored to have you here. We are so excited about what I Am Second is doing. Why don't you recap, what is the heart of I Am Second? What do you guys want to accomplish?
Heart of I Am Second is we want to tell the story of how Jesus is changing lives. God is not just a God of the Bible or the Old Testament, New Testament 2,000 years ago. He is a very active God today, and He is still changing lives. We're just trying to tell those stories of what's happening today.
And, hey, Doug, let's delve in a little bit deeper. I mean, obviously you're telling us what I Am Second is, and you said that you guys are coming up on your 4th anniversary, but what spurred this on to do this in the first place? I mean, because obviously, you're getting people who are being filmed with their stories that are high profile, some people that are kind of lower profile but have got some really neat testimonies. What kicked this off to begin with?
What really started us off, what really got us moving, was this conviction that we felt like if people simply heard of the story of what God is doing today, what God is actually doing in real people's lives, people that you may even recognize in the media or in music or sports or on TV, famous people, but even regular people, we just felt this conviction that if people simply heard the story, that they would be intrigued in actually following and learning more about Jesus. It really started with a man named Norm Miller, who had that. He was actually just having praying one morning, and that's really what he felt like God was telling him was, you got to just tell the message here in America. And so it was from that and from this conviction on our team that we felt like if we simply tell that story, people will be interested. We don't just have to try and argue people into heaven. We can actually just tell the story.
Now, how did you get such a big name people to share their story with I Am Second?
Oh man, great question. More often than not, it was friends of friends of a friend. And so I think the Colt McCoy story is one of my favorites. So if I remember the story right, Colt McCoy, he used to be at the UT Texas, and now he's over at the Cleveland Browns. But we had a person on our board and at our organization, and who had a friend who worked at that school's board, who knew Colt's dad, who got the interview for us. So that is kind of the route it usually goes. And once they see one of our films, they're saying, "Wow, you guys tell the stories well. I'd love for you to tell mine."
Now, how has been the response so far from people that come in contact, whether by the website or from hearing it on radio or seeing it on online?
Honestly, it's been overwhelming. When we first started, believe it or not, we were actually just aiming for Dallas-Fort Worth. We didn't really realize, we didn't think it all through, that when you put something on the web, it goes worldwide. But we put it worldwide on the web, and within a week we were in over 100 countries, and we were blown away by the response. And now we have over 10 million visitors to our website in just a couple of years here. We just, as I mentioned, up on 4 years now. And so we've been blown away by the response we've gotten, both from our films and also from things like our book that's out and our small groups, and just the whole array of things. We've been really, really pleasantly surprised.
Awesome. Doug Bender on the phone talking about I Am Second and their new book, Live Second, 365 days a year with this new book, Live Second. Tell us about that book, Doug.
Yeah, definitely. The book is called, as you mentioned, is Live Second, and it's really meant as a day-to-day how to actually practically live out our faith of putting Jesus first. So many people, we know Jesus, we like Jesus, we love Jesus, whatever category we put ourselves in, but we often struggle on knowing what exactly that means. When we wake up in the morning, what does it look like to practically live out our faith on a day-to-day basis? And so that's what this book is meant to be, a guide to help you know how to do that.
All right, so and who is it specifically tailored for any particular group, audience?
It's really two groups of people. And I would say the first group is those who are interested in Jesus but aren't yet ready has not actually, committed saying, all right, I'm going to follow Jesus, but who are interested to know what it would look like to actually follow him. And even the first 2 months of the book, it's a 365-day thing. 2 months bring you through Genesis to all the way through the New Testament to give you an overview of what our faith is about. But it's also for those people who are long-time believers or new believers but who have committed to follow Jesus but are struggling to know, how do I make this more practical in my life?
Cool. And it looks like you've got it divided up to make it easy reading, so you can do something each day, or it's divided like into 52 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of, you take a bite at a time. It's just a week at a time. The first day of every week is actually a discussion guide, and you can do it either on your own or as a small group, or maybe with a friend. But it's just you watch an I Am Second film, you read a Bible passage that relates to that, a story from the Bible that has a similar theme to it, and then you just kind of walk through a few questions and it helps you walk through that issue. And then the rest of the week, you really just, you have more of that. You have a devotional thought, kind of a challenge for the day, prayer to how do you talk to God about this issue. Like maybe it's a relationship, or maybe it's a struggle or materialism, whatever it is that week is about. And then day 7 of every week is really just a prayer. You just talk to God about that issue that you go through for the week.
And now you mentioned a lot of issues that are going to, a lot of our listeners are going to be facing, and even if they can't get the book right away, even at your website, you tackle some of those issues, right?
Exactly, and on our website we've got, as I mentioned earlier, we have probably just under 90 films on there, and we've got them all categorized by struggles. And so it's from alcoholism to success, or family issues, or relationships, or you name it. We have all these different struggles that we all face and deal with, and we're trying to tell the stories of people who have faced similar things and how Jesus kind of helped them through that.
We're talking with Doug Bender. The new book is Live Second, a daily guide to live a God-honoring life. It's available now, right, Doug? Where can people pick it up?
Yeah, it's literally everywhere. You can get it online at Amazon or ChristianBook.com, or you can get it in your local Barnes & Noble or local Christian bookstore. It's pretty much everywhere right now, all across the country.
Okay, great. We'll talk a little bit more with Doug in just a little bit, but right now it's the latest from Britt Nicole. Here's Gold on Yes FM. And on the phone on the Afternoon Rebellion, we have Doug Bender of IamSecond.com. We just got done talking about the new book called Live Second, a daily guide to live a God-honoring life, and certainly a theme that we believe here in the Afternoon Rebellion. Looks like we have similar causes. We're kind of asking people to be a rebel and follow God, not the culture. And you got a new Spanish version coming out of I Am Second. Am I correct?
Yeah, we're really excited. We're in February. We're actually launching Yo Soy Segundo, which is the Spanish side of I Am Second. We'll have Spanish-only films. We'll have a lot of our other films will be subtitled in Spanish. We'll have a lot of our small group materials, all that in Spanish. So we're really excited about where we're heading there in February.
Cool.
Excellent. And going back to your website and taking a look at some of this stuff, one of the things that you guys have on there is the opportunity to engage in groups. So tell us a little bit about that and how that would look and what people could expect.
Yeah. Well, so many times we think of a spiritual growth as an individual thing. It's just me and God. But in reality, the only way to really grow spiritually is to have other people around you. And that's what these I Am Second groups are meant to do. If you love the films, if you love the website, we have discussion guides that go with each of our films that people can, you can just get a couple of your friends together at your home, at a Starbucks, at your church, wherever it is, people you get together, and you actually can go through some of the I Am Second films and then Bible stories related to those films, and actually kind of grow together as wherever you are in your faith. That's what these I Am Second groups are meant to be. And you actually get all the small group materials are free at IamSecond.com/groups.
Excellent. Another thing that I saw is, as far as the connecting part, is that people will have the opportunity to participate in praying for others. How does that work? That's such a cool idea. Yeah,
definitely. We have basically two big opportunities that people can pray for others. Is on our Facebook page, we have kind of about once a week we put up posts. It's called Prayer Swap. We put up posts, and what you do is you put your prayer request there, and then people they like your prayer request when they pray for you, and so you can submit and both pray for other people. And we also on there I think it's every Monday, we actually do a prayer call, so you can actually live call in and be a part of a team of people who are actually praying. And you can actually pray for different things, both in your life and the lives of those around you. And you get all that info by just following us on our Facebook page.
And then one last question for you as far as the website. Is noticing on going on an expedition. So what does the expedition entail? Because that sounds like it's a little bit more in-depth than a few of these other components.
Exactly. And what that basically is if you've been inspired to buy the stories on the site, if you've been inspired by saying, I need to share my faith, I need to talk more about Jesus, we want you to do that in your own local communities and your own friends and family, but we also want to challenge you to actually go overseas and do it. And that's what I Am Second Expedition is I Am Second is a part of an international mission organization that we help start churches and small groups and Bible studies all over the world, and we actually bring you on expedition where you can learn how to share your faith with real people who've never heard of Jesus before, and you can be one of the first people to ever tell them, and it's a really thrilling experience.
We're talking with Doug Bender of IamSecond.com. Doug, thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon, and thank you for what you're doing. We really love what you're doing and stand behind it, and we want to do what we can to help you guys out too on our end. So keep up the good work. And any other new exciting things coming up soon?
Well, thank you for having me on. And yeah, we just lots of cool things. We got a lot of big films coming up this next year, and I can't quite give you all the names of it yet. We're still in the works with some of it, but follow us on our Facebook page and find out some of the cool things we have coming up.
Cool. And just looking at some of the names that you have for the films, you talk with Tony Dungy, Stephen Baldwin, Trevor Bain, of course, Brian Head Welch, Lecrae, and someone that's near and dear to our area. He went to Bowling Green State University, Scott Hamilton. So
yeah,
to see him on there too. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was funny. I actually didn't know he was a believer until I heard that our team we were going up to film him, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Because I just growing up, you always watch him in the Olympics. Now he's a commentator, and it was just has such a powerful story, and I didn't even know.
Cool. So yeah, I encourage everybody to go check that out. Scott Hamilton on there, and of course, one of our favorite artists here on Yes FM, Lecrae, has his story on there too. Well, Doug, thank you so much again for what you're doing and talking with us. And again, it's IamSecond.com. Definitely go there and check it out. And hey, let's can we keep in touch?
All right. Thank you.
Yes FM.